Chapter 5 lands like a soft, computed heartbeat in a factory built from legends and nightmares. The teaser drops with a quiet intelligence, not a scream. And that quiet is the first clue you'll notice. The game isn't rushing you toward jump scares. It's inviting you to read the environment as a map of memory, in a world where toys once whispered through the walls. A new chapter promises to whisper back with purpose. SFX, low_wind. 2. The screen glimmers to life with a POV that feels both distant and as if we're watching a memory from the inside of a dream. The colors tilt toward the surreal, the pinks and greens of a hall that shouldn't exist in daylight. The glossy surfaces catching reflections that aren't quite you. The teaser doesn't show a single, clear objective. It shows a tension you can sense in the air, in the way the light seems to hesitate before touching a surface, as if the factory itself is choosing whether to reveal its secrets. CONTXT, this ISNT, a mere continuation of a chase sequence. It's a reckoning with the voice of the place itself. Poppy Playtime has always been about what we do with fear once it's named. The teaser for Chapter 5 suggests a shift from survival to interpretation. You're not only searching for an exit, you're deciphering what the exit says about you. The hubbub of a childlike universe has grown older, and with age comes the ache of recognizing patterns you once believed were innocent. The trailer hints that the factory has learned to speak in more complex ways, using imagery that nests in memory doors that remember how you approached them. Sounds that match the pulse of a heartbeat you didn't know you owned. The trailer's first musical cue is sparse. A single line of percussion that doesn't announce drama so much as it invites reflection. The sound design leans into texture, distant clanks, a soft whir. A lullaby chord that lands like a memory you're not sure you want to revisit. It's a signal that Chapter 5 will reward patience and attention more than speed. Narrative/exploration as the teaser unfolds. You notice a deliberate refusal to over-explain. The camera lingers on details, a cracked tile, a handprint smeared with something that might be corn syrup, and hope. A toy that seems to tilt its head in a very human gesture. The world feels cataloged by someone who learned fear by cataloging it. You glimpse a corridor that bends without breaking, a hallway that looks like a page ripped from a diary you never finished writing. In the space, the visuals aren't just scenery. They're linguistic devices, whispering about memory, responsibility, and the fragile line between play and punishment. What could Chapter 5 be about if not a larger heist of the psyche? Perhaps the purpose is to force us to confront complicity. The idea that a consumer culture, enamored of cute packaging, is also complicit in the creation of fear. The teaser offers a riddle about agency. Who controls the narrative, the player who presses the controller, or the story that presses the player into a decision? The teaser's imagery suggests a reality where the protagonist isn't simply running from a threat, but choosing whether to acknowledge what the threat represents. In one moment, the door opens, not with a bang, but with a sigh. The light spills out in a way that makes you question whether the room was ever truly dark, or whether the darkness was simply waiting for permission to be named. This is where the turning point starts to emerge. You aren't just hunting a monster. You're tracing the adult shadow behind a child's toy empire. The trailer whispers that Chapter 5 may redefine what it means to finish to understand a story. Not by its climaxes, but by how it rearranges the questions you carried into the theater. Twist/turning point. The teaser's most provocative beat arrives as a paradox dressed in a familiar silhouette. A character, the plush mascot you thought you understood, appears not as a villain alone, but as a mirror. The audience recognizes something they've always known but refuse to admit. Fear isn't a single antagonist, and the thing you pretend you're not. The trailer frames a possible narrative truth. Maybe the factory isn't merely haunted by its past. Perhaps it's haunted by our own past purchases, our nostalgia for innocence, and the way nostalgia can become a cage. in this imagined twist. Chapter 5 could reveal that the protagonist's struggle is less about escape and more about confrontation with complicity. The player's choices might carry moral weight, not because the game wants to punish, but because the memory demands accountability. The teaser plants a seed. What if the enemy is not a creature with teeth, but a memory one you can change if you allow yourself to acknowledge it? A chorus of synthetic notes rises, not to herald triumph, but to test your willingness to stay with a difficult truth. The visuals tattered posters, a torn banner reading Playtime Company, gesture toward a narrative pivot. Dissociation is no longer a safe strategy. You can't pretend the past didn't shape the present. The teaser's mood shifts from eerie curiosity to quiet responsibility, inviting you to consider what you owe to the stories you were told as a child and to the memories you still carry as an adult. Resolution/MES if Chapter 5 uses the teaser to prepare the ground for a revision of the franchise's myth. The core message could be simple, yet muscular. Awareness alters reality. When you start naming the unspoken forces behind a playground brand universe, you disarm their power. The teaser hints that the factory's doors will open, not to reveal a boss fight, but to invite a dialogue between fear and memory, between curiosity and accountability. The most unsettling truth might be this: the things we fear in stories help us understand what we fear in ourselves. And only by facing both can we begin to move forward. This is not surrender to dread, but a wager on insight. The teaser treats the audience as co-authors, offering pieces of a larger manuscript and inviting you to write the next lines with care. The visuals promise that Chapter 5 will reward a learner's patience, the kind of viewer who watches for patterns, who notices a thread in the texture of a scene and follows it to a larger truth. The conclusion offered by the teaser is not definitive victory, but an invitation to a more nuanced relationship with fear. Curiosity first, courage second. Transformative understanding that some doors aren't about escape. They're about seeing clearly. Oyuteroso, the teaser isn't merely a trailer for Chapter 5. It's a manifesto about storytelling itself. It suggests that great horror, in any form, isn't about making you jump. It's about making you wake up to what you've been a part of all along. The factory isn't just a setting, it's a mirror, and the memory it reflects isn't just yours or mine. It belongs to everyone who ever pressed play, hoping to glimpse the hidden logic of fear, and to leave with a new question more precise than the last. What will you do with the knowledge that fear is a shape your own hands helped mold? If you listen closely, the teaser asks you to stay curious after the screen goes dark, not to wait for the next scare, but to reconsider what counts as progress when the objective isn't to outrun danger, but to outrun illusion. Chapter 5 promises not merely a continuation of a chase, but a redefinition of what it means to face a memory, to accept the responsibility of interpretation, and to decide, in the quiet hours after watching, how you will carry the lesson into your own life. Fresh after-images linger as the teaser recedes, and you're left with a question that tastes like memory. The trick isn't to prove you're brave. It's to accept how fear rearranges your map of self. The visuals flirt with you, not to trap, but to invite soft questions. What if the signs we call superstition are just early warnings our future selves send back through time? A door sighs and a corridor breathes. The hallway doesn't demand a chase. It asks you to listen. In that listening, Chapter 5 becomes less about escape and more about reading the architecture of your own choices. If the trailer is a riddle, the answer isn't run faster, but read slower. The teaser's paradox returns, a toy that comforts and threatens. The line between play and responsibility blurs, and the player becomes a co-author of consequences. The memory you carry isn't merely a souvenir, it's a tool, reshaping what you're willing to forgive in yourself and others. The final frame hints at a door fully lit from the other side, inviting a step that feels like a verdict. Will you step through with courage or stay and watch your own reflection fade into the room? Stay curious, because the real horror may be not what hides behind the door, but what you decide